Picture a Social Security check sitting on a kitchen table. Same check, every month. Except it is smaller than it should be, and nobody at the SSA ever called to say so. That is the situation for a significant number of people right now in 2026. Not because of a fraud or a glitch, because of a decision they made years ago, or a record that never got corrected, and the math that followed them silently ever since. The difference we are talking about is not a few dollars. On a modest benefit, one missed detail can mean $600 less every single month. Over a 20-year retirement, that is $144,000 gone permanently. The SSA does not send a follow-up letter explaining this. They process what you filed and move on. So what I want to do today is break this down by the year you were born, because the rules are genuinely different depending on your age group. Some of you need to. By the time we are done, you will know exactly which category you are in and exactly what to look at. And just to be clear up front, everything I cover here is general information about how these programs work. It is not financial or legal advice. Your specific situation will depend on your own earnings record, your household income, and whether you qualify for the programs I describe. I will give you the thresholds. You take it from there, or talk to a benefits counselor. If this is the kind of breakdown you are looking for, actual rules, actual numbers, no hype, subscribe to Walter on Benefits and turn on notifications. Every video here is built the same way. Find the rule, translate what it means in real dollars, and tell you what to actually do about it. That is it. Let's get into the groups. Group 1. If you were born between 1943 and 1954, you are between 72 and 83 years old in 2026. You have likely been on Social Security for a while, and the natural assumption at this stage is that everything is settled. For most people in this group, that assumption is fine. But for a specific subset, it is costing real money every month. The first thing to check is whether you are on the right benefit record. This applies specifically if you have lost a spouse. A widow or widower in this age range may be collecting their own retirement benefit when they would actually receive more on their late spouse's record. The survivor benefit for a widow or widower can be up to 100% of what the deceased spouse was receiving at the time of death. In many cases, that figure is substantially higher than the surviving spouse's own benefit. The gap is not small. We are talking situations where the difference is $300 or $400 a month. Here's the thing that surprises people. You have to ask. If you lost a spouse and have never specifically requested that someone compare both figures and put you on the higher one, there is a real possibility you have been leaving money on the table for years. Not months, years. The number to call is 1-800-77-21-213. Ask them to pull your own retirement benefit and your survivor benefit and compare them side by side. If you are on the lower one, you can request to be moved to the higher one. The second thing for this group involves Medicare, specifically something called the IRMAA surcharge. If your income was higher in a previous year, from a property sale, a Roth conversion, a one-time distribution from an account, Medicare may still be charging you a surcharge based on that older income figure. IRMAA surcharges in 2026 add anywhere from about $70 to nearly $500 on top of your standard Part B premium every single month. The standard Part B premium in 2020, if your monthly Medicare bill is noticeably higher than that, the IRMAA surcharge is likely the reason. The appeal form is the SSA 44. It exists specifically for situations where your income is dropped due to a life-changing event: retirement, the death of a spouse, loss of income-producing property. If your income is lower now than it was 2 years ago, and Medicare is still pricing you based on the old number, you have grounds to appeal. The form is available at ssa.gov. If this is useful so far, and I mean that in a practical sense, not just interesting, a like helps me know that this kind of breakdown is what you want more of. It takes a second, and it tells me to keep going deeper on this material. Now let's talk about the group where the stakes in 2026 are highest. Group 2. Born between 1955 and 1959. This is the group where I want to slow down and be very precise, because the rules are different for every single birth year in this range, and most people do not know their specific number. Your full retirement age is not simply 66 or 67. It falls in between, and it is tied to the exact year and month you were born. If you were born in 1955, your full retirement age is 66 years and 2 months. Born in 1956, it is 66 years and 4 months. Born in 1957, 66 years and 6 months. Born in 1958, 66 years and 8 months. Born in 1959, 66 years and 10 months. Those are not round numbers. They are the actual numbers that determine your permanent benefit calculation. And the reason this matters so much right now is that people in this age group are making their claiming decisions, or have recently made them, and the consequences are permanent. Here is what permanent means in practice. If you were born in 1957, if you claimed at 62, your benefit was reduced by approximately 25.8%. On a monthly benefit of $2,000, that is $516 less every single month. Not for a few years while you catch up, for the rest of your life. Over 20 years of retirement, that reduction totals roughly $123,000. The SSA does not remind you of this before you file the paperwork. They process the application. Now, for people in this group who have not yet claimed, if you are past your full retirement age and have not filed, every additional month you wait earns you roughly 2/3 of 1% more, permanently. That compounds to about 8% per year. Between your specific full retirement age and age 70, you can accumulate anywhere from 24 to 32% more per month, depending on your exact birth year. On a $2,000 base benefit, that is potential for life. There is also the earnings test, which trips up a lot of people who are still working. In 2026, if you are collecting Social Security before your full retirement age, and you earn more than $23,400 in the year, the SSA withholds $1 for every $2 you earn above that limit. If you are not aware of this rule and your check suddenly shrinks, it can feel like something went wrong. Nothing went wrong, but you need to understand it. The withheld amount does get credited back to your record once you reach full retirement age, which adjusts your monthly benefit upward. The money is not lost, but you need to know it is happening. And here is something I have seen confuse people more than almost anything else in this system. The calculation in your head about what is worth doing. A person born in 1955 and a person born in 1959 are in the same age bracket in most people's minds. But their full retirement ages differ by 8 months, and their delayed credit windows are different. Know your specific month and year, not a rough guess. Group 3, born between 1960 and 1965. You are between 61 and 66 years old in 2026. For everyone in this group, full retirement age is exactly 67, and the most important thing for you right now is understanding in concrete dollar terms what it means to claim before that. Claiming at 62, with a full retirement age of 67, reduces your monthly benefit by 30%, permanently. On a $2,000 benefit, that is $600 less every single month for the rest of your life. Over a 20-year retirement, that reduction adds up to $144,000 compared to simply waiting until 67. They will ask if you understand your benefit will be reduced. You say yes, you sign, and the lower amount becomes your permanent number. That is how the process works. There is also an option on the other end of the spectrum that almost nobody in this group knows exists. If you apply for benefits after reaching your full retirement age of 67, you can request up to 6 months of retroactive payments. The SSA will pay you as if you had filed up to 6 months earlier. On a $2,000 monthly benefit, that retroactive payment is a lump sum of up to $12,000 with your first check. The trade-off is a slightly lower ongoing monthly amount because your official start date moves back. Whether that trade-off makes sense depends on your situation. But the option exists, it is real, and it is almost never mentioned unless you specifically ask. Now I want to pause here and ask you something directly. Not just glanced at it, actually gone through it year by year. Because if you are in this group and you are 5 or 6 years away from claiming, what you find in that record right now matters enormously. Drop a comment below and tell me, have you checked your earnings record at ssa.gov, and did it match what you actually earned? I want to know how common this problem really is, and your answer will help me decide how deep to go on this topic in a future video. For people in Group 3 who have time before claiming, the correction window is still wide open. Go to ssa.gov, create a My Social Security account if you do not have one, and open your Social Security statement. Compare the earnings listed for every year against your own records, old W-2 forms, pay stubs, tax returns from those years. One incorrect year reduces your eventual monthly benefit by approximately $100. Find it now while you still have documentation. Born in 1966 or later. You are 60 or younger. You are not close to claiming yet, and that is precisely why what comes next is worth paying close attention to. Your full retirement age is 67. Claiming at 62 means a 30% permanent reduction. Waiting until 70 means up to 24% more than your full benefit, permanently. Those numbers are fixed in federal law. What is not fixed yet is whether your earnings record is accurate. The SSA has been recording your payroll data since your first job. That data came from your employers, and every year there was an opportunity for something to go wrong. A number submitted incorrectly, a year that was missed entirely, a period. Each uncorrected error reduces your monthly benefit when you eventually claim by approximately $100 per missed year. If you worked through the 1980s or 1990s, the era of manual payroll processing, there is a real chance your record contains at least 1 year that does not accurately reflect what you earned. The fix is straightforward. You file a request for correction of earnings record with supporting documentation, and the SSA updates the record. But here is what makes this a right now issue, even though claiming is years away. Documentation gets harder to find as time passes. W-2 forms, pay stubs, old tax returns. These are easier to locate today than they will be in 15 or 20 years. The fix is free right now. It will not always be. Go to ssa.gov. Create a My Social Security account if you do not have one. Open your Social Security. If you find a year where the number does not match what you actually earned, and you have documentation to back it up, file the correction request now. Let me give you a clean summary before we close. If you were born between 1943 and 1954, check whether you are on the right benefit record, especially if you lost a spouse. Call 1-800-77-21-213 and ask for a direct comparison of both figures. And if your monthly Medicare Part B bill is above $185, look into the IRMAA surcharge and whether the SSA 44 appeal applies to you. If you were born between 1955 and 1959, know your exact full retirement age down to the month, not just the year. Understand that claiming early is a permanent reduction in real dollar terms. And if you are currently collecting before your full retirement age while still working, understand how the earnings test at $23,400 works. If you were born between 1960 and 1965, do the math on what a 30% reduction actually means in monthly and lifetime dollars before you make any claiming decision. And ask about the retroactive lump sum option if you are applying after your full retirement age of 67. If you were born in 1966 or later, open your Social Security statement at ssa.gov today and check your earnings record year by year while you still have the paperwork to support a correction. The SSA is not going to call you with any of this. That is just the reality. So if someone you know falls into one of these groups, share this with them, and subscribe if you want the next one. The next breakdown covers a Social Security rule change that hits people who are still working while collecting benefits. This is Walter, and I will see you in the next video.